Everything's waking up in the garden. Today is April 6th, 2010. Right now we're looking at Heuchera dark chocolate, one of the new introductions that we'll be introducing from the Primrose Path. You can see the leaves are super dark chocolate, and it's a lovely little plant. Dark, shiny leaves. These were tiny little plugs when I put them in last year, and they have come up just fine. Loved the snow insulation from last winter. Doing terrifically, swimmingly well. Behind it we have Phlox Lord Clayton emerging. You can see that deep, dark, chocolatey purple foliage with the lime green stems. It's just a wonderful plant. I can't wait for it to bloom again this year. This is one of the new Tiarellas from the Tiarella series called FM Mooberry. It's a tiny plant. It's sort of a mini Tiarella. It doesn't get super huge, but it does spread across the ground a bit. And as it comes into bloom, you'll see lovely white flowers, which I'll be taking pictures of in the next few weeks. But the foliage will get a very dark center to it after it blooms and the foliage matures. It's a great new introduction, nice and compact, from Sinclair Adam of Dunbiggin Nurseries. One of my favorite things to see are the spring fern fronds coming up. This is a tassel fern. Very fuzzy, very fun to look at. It looks like a little monster coming out of the garden. And then you can see the wonderful maroon fronds of the Japanese painted ferns. They're just lovely in the spring. Interestingly, this is Heuchera stainless steel, another new introduction from the Primrose Path that we're going to be introducing next year. I have some planted in a little bit more sun and some planted in a little more shade. These are in sun, and you can see that the ones in the sun are definitely pinkish. They have a wonderful sort of mauvey color to them. I love this. I'm going to show you some that are planted in the shade that are definitely a lot more silver. I think another one of my favorite plants that emerges in the spring is the Hakanakloa All Gold. What a terrific filler this is for dry shade. I use it in between all of my Tiarellas and anemones and a lot of the Heucheras, but it just makes such a wonderful backdrop to the dark green foliage of the Tiarellas. Right here we have a huge patch of Octoraro, which is one of the river series. You can see it's starting to come into bloom, but that was the original plant, and this is 2 years old, so we've spread at least 24 inches, probably closer to 30. It's a wonderful ground cover. This is one that I would really like to see people using instead of ivy and vinca on hillsides. This is one of the most drought tolerant of the river series. I have used it under pin oaks and white pines with absolutely no problem. Here is my 2-year-old Echinacea hot papaya, just to prove to you that it is hardy. Made it through last year, made it through the year before. It's coming up nice and strong. Can't wait to see this one bloom. And this is a shot just to prove to you that although Campanula Viking does look like it is a punctata relative, it has some punctata in it, which is a sort of invasive Campanula. We've been trialing it for 3 years now, and you can see this clump has gotten just a little bit bigger, but there's no sign of it spreading around. It's been in the ground for 3 seasons now. So the little gnome has decided to take a nap next to the Viking. I guess he feels protected next to a Viking. This is one of my favorite combinations. This is Epimedium Purple Pixie, which we're helping to introduce along with the Connor Pyle Company. It's one that I found with Dr. Leidy while I was at the Connor Pyle Company, and I really adore this epimedium. It's fantastic for dry shade. This clump's about 4 years old, so it's not too aggressive. Then you have stainless steel, and you can see these are planted in a little bit more shade. These get some afternoon sun, but look how silver they are. They certainly don't have that pink tinge that they did out in the front garden, where they get a little bit more afternoon sun. But what a fantastic color, and these, I'm telling you, have got to be some of the most vigorous Heucheras I've ever had that aren't the Velosa types. I think Charles's breeding is amazing, and I really commend him for making such vigorous plants. These were tiny little plugs, little 2.5-inch pots when I planted them a year ago. Look how far they've come. And just so you can see the completely different phases of stainless steel, this one's almost, well, stainless steel colored. This one's in full shade under a white pine. So this is a really versatile plant, and I think it's a little bit more vigorous when it gets some sun, because these are the same size plants when I planted them. But this one's definitely not as large, but the color on it is just like a Brunner. Wonderful, wonderful. This is Dr. Sherry Kitto. We're going to call it Sherry Kitto. This is one of the Tiarella series, along with FM and Stephanie Cohen. And this one has pink flowers, as you can see. Really cute little pink flowers. And tons of them. Tons and tons of flowers. One of the most floriferous we have in the series. These were tiny plants when I planted them last year, so they're not quite as full as they will be after they grow out this year. But I'm expecting great things from them. And this is one of the earliest of my Tiarellas to bloom.
Thanks for taking a tour of the test garden today. Join me next week as I go behind the scenes with famed foam flower breeder Sinclair Adam. We'll see how the River series is spread, peek in on the new Tiarella series, and get a sneak preview of what's yet to come. Until then, happy weeding.